Hey, Michael McFarland here, giving you the Lake Fork Daily Rundown for April 16th, 2020. A little bit better day today. Still had some pretty strong winds, and the lake is still kind of dirty and not cold, but let's tell you about it. We're back on the warm trend. As of yesterday, it was 63 in the morning, 65 in the afternoon. This morning, 63.2. So we gained a little overnight. We did not cool last night, which is really cool. Okay, that's a warm trend. It's 63.8 at the end of the day. Because of a strong south wind, and not a crazy wind, but just a strong south wind, we didn't get a real big warm trend through the day. And the lake kept white capping and whatnot, so it's churned up, which is making it stained, but it is settling. It's not quite as bad as it was yesterday or obviously the day before. And of course, you can go in certain areas and see some clear water, and in some areas see much dirtier water. So it really varies throughout the lake. But settling, definitely settling, even with windy conditions. Lake level, stable. Yesterday was 402.76. The end of the day, 402.75. This morning, 402.75. End of the day, 402.72. That's nothing. It's the dropping is probably what they call rate of flow. No matter what, they have to have rate of flow flowing through that dam. Whatever is supposed to be flowing, rate of flow, which is very minimal, probably 180, 200 cubic feet per second. It's just one pipe. No gates open, but one little pipe that flows below the dam. So everything's stable. That's pretty good. The minute the lake's stable, the fish is different. It does. There's no doubt. And we caught fish. We caught probably about 10 fish today. Mostly cookie cutters, but 2 Lake Fork specials. It was we lost a hog. I mean, a giant right off the get-go. When you're a guide and you're watching the client's fish, and you've done it enough, in my case, 15 years, sitting back 200 days a year watching people catch fish. When they set the hook and you see that rod load, by the loading of the rod and how much that fish moves, I don't know how big it is, but I can tell when it's a big one. And when they really lay into it with one of my 6-power rods, and the fish don't come to this, it's a real big one. So this morning with a 6-power rod, Bushido real-time rod, and a square bill, we had a tank and couldn't hardly turn it, and it just came out. It just pulled out. The hooks pulled out. Never saw it, but that was the start to the morning, and then we grinded, and man, was it a grind. But what we ended up catching our fish on was tried true old impact shad. The impact shad in the Green Pumpkin Magic Red Flake with a chartreuse dip tail seemed to catch the fish. Shallow, very, very shallow, boat about 4 feet, throwing into the shallow reefs, the shallow shell bed reefs, the wind-blown points preferably, and mostly, again, catching small fish. Didn't catch any big ones today. The other bait, and we were throwing that on the Finesse Carolina rig that I talk about, which is my MB 1020. It's the McFarland's signature real-time rod, MB 7'3", 1020. Okay, I put a Tatula SV 150 on it with 15-pound fluorocarbon, a shorter leader with 12-pound fluorocarbon, and again, the baits today was the impact shad. But one of my good friends, Mr. Joe Coker, turned me on to this bait last week, and we caught some fish on it today. And that is your big bite, the big bite crawfish. Green, pumpkin, red. Actually, I think this is just watermelon red. Watermelon red. One of the best colors when it's clear skies and the sun is shining. You want that red fleck in your plastics on Lake Fork. Okay. That's what did the numbers. Well, like I said, we probably had about 10 fish. The better fish today came by throwing swim baits. Basically what I'm doing is I'm pulling up onto these shallow points, these shallow flatted points, these shell bed reefs. And I'm power pulling down in about 5 feet of water, 6 feet of water. And the first thing we do is throw the swim baits. We're going to throw swim baits for a good 10, 15 minutes at least to see if we can get that swim bait bite. And what we're basically throwing is 2 baits, 2 different baits, 2 different sizes. The first bait that I'm throwing is the 3/16 5-inch weedless rising sun. It's weedless. So the hook that I need to use is the Owner Flashy Spinner 8-aught, and I believe the weight is a 3/8 ounce. This allows me to actually fish it through the wood on the nasty points. It lets me even kind of go down a little more with the bait and get it down bumping the bottom, and it don't get hung up. To whereas the full-size 3/16 Rising Sun, I'm going to show them to you in a minute. It has a line through with a treble hook on the bottom. I really prefer to throw that one first on these spots for the big bite. But if you let that go down deep in the wood, you're going to lose it with that treble hook on the bottom. So let's show you those. First off, we're going to give you the big one. This is the full-size Rising Sun, 3/16 line through Rising Sun, perfected, tried and true in the IU color. It hardly sinks at all, and it swims no matter how slow you reel it. That's the key. The action in this bait is unlike any other and better and more perfected than any other. All right, been on the market for some time, long time. Been around, tried, true. 3/16 line through Rising Sun. The really cool thing about this is when the fish gets on a bait like this, you get a big bait like this, and a big fish like gets hooked on that. In most cases, that fish has the bulkiness of that bait to shake and dislodge the hook. In this case, the hook comes free and the line, come on. When that fish takes the bait and gets the hook in his mouth, the bait gets away from it. You see that? So now I've got the hook here in the fish's mouth and nothing to shake or dislodge the hook. All right. So that is the weedless Rising Sun from 3/16. You want to impregnate, when you put this hook into this belly, you'll have a little split ring. You want that split ring laying flat. There'll only be one way that it'll lay flat with a proper single hook going into the plastic, leaving you the bottom looking like that with just those two exposed hooks. Okay. Again, the 3/16 Rising Sun. Giant bass are caught every year throughout the United States, but that's a fork killer. I throw that. My brand new signature series just came out with this. CB, 7'10", 1530. That's a 6-power rod. This thing is bad to the bone. I can deadlift 1 gallon of oil with this rod. So I could easily boat flip a 10-pounder with this rod, no problem. I throw this on a bigger reel because I'm going to throw heavier line, 20-pound to 25-pound fluorocarbon. I'm going to throw a 200 reel. A Daiwa 200 gives me more spool, more line capacity for longer bomber casts, and I don't have to have any splice line or anything like that in there. Basically, that is the setup for the Rising Sun, the full Rising Sun, and it's the same setup for the weedless Rising Sun. Okay, here's your weedless version. Single hook on top, weighted belly, flashy spinner. And the only difference is when this gets into the fish's mouth, it does not go away. And the fish does have this projectile in his mouth to kind of dislodge. Normally with that single big hook in there like that, they don't dislodge it. Again, this one I'm going to fish it through the wood, through the bottom, let it bump the shells, let it hit the bottom. It does get stuck, but I can usually get it back. Where at the line through treble hook on the bottom, you ain't getting that back. So that's what we're doing. I'm going to be doing that tomorrow with Joe, my film guy and great friend. We're going to really hope to get some good footage tomorrow. It's not a guide trip. It's just going to be a fishing day for me and my friend. We're going to try and get some of it on film. It's fishing tough and it's a grind, so I don't know what's going to happen. But we're going to kind of commit to that again tomorrow, and I'll be sure to give you a rundown at the end of the day about that, how it goes. One last thing I want to tell you that was really cool today. We started out with a big fish bite. I told you about it already. Well, later in the afternoon, on one of the line through 3/16s, my client loads up, sets the hook, and this is maybe even a bigger fish. This thing's going the other way, and you ain't stopping it. With a big, heavy 6-power rod, and you're not stopping this thing. And I'm just starting to have my heart pound, thinking this is what I came to Lake Fork for. This could be the teenage class or bigger, and it turned out to be a loggerhead turtle. Yes, those turtles eat the fish and they eat the shad too. Pretty rare, but the turtle had actually, I don't know if it snapped at the bait or whatever, but it got caught in the backside some way or other, and with that single hook too. Remember, I was throwing the weedless on that, and so he's hooked in the backside and basically swimming the other way with all four. Well, pretty cool, kind of exciting for a few moments to think, here we go, this is what you came here for, and to see that old yucky loggerhead come up. It wasn't disappointing, but it was different. So thought I'd share that with you. Also down the pond, the Goat Lake is about ready to open up. I don't believe we're going to have too many more cold trends. We're going to have rain. We're going to have lightning, thunder, and probably some tornadoes in April and May still. But I don't think we're going to have too much more cool trends. We're almost ready to have the shad spawn. In fact, Eric Wright on Monday found a shad spawn area and caught 50 bass. And then it went away with the cold nights. So it's going to come right back. As soon as we get some 70 and 80 degree days and 60 plus nights, the shad spawn's on. And folks, it's one of the funnest times of the year because the numbers are great. The lake is pumped full of 2 and 3, 4 pounders. They really ravage and school up on these spawning shad. And it's just a better, consistent fishing. The numbers start to really increase. And the big fish add to the awesome equation of fishing on the Goat Lake. So love it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please, everyone stay healthy and don't be afraid to get out a little bit, at least in the outdoors. Go to the park. Don't be afraid of that. Go to the lake. Go on a hike. Go fishing. I've got open dates. Thanks for watching, folks. I'm Mike McFarland, the Lake Fork Guide, giving you the Lake Fork Daily Rundown for April 20th. No, April 16th, 2020. Too much fun.